In the deepest stretch of the winter frontier, where the wind screamed like an angry beast and the snow swallowed every trace of life, a man named Callen trudged through the blizzard with a fierce determination burning in his eyes, clutching a dim lantern in one hand and holding a lifeless-looking woman in his arms with the other, her fragile body limp against his chest as if the storm itself had drained her last breath. The lantern's golden glow flickered wildly, fighting desperately against the roaring darkness around them, but Callen refused to let it die, because that small circle of light was the only hope guiding him toward the lonely wooden cabin that he knew stood somewhere ahead. Every step he took was a battle, his boots sinking deep into the snow, the icy wind slashing against his face, and the weight of the woman growing heavier as exhaustion threatened to crush his strength. But he pushed forward, refusing to surrender, because he knew that if he gave up now, the woman he had risked everything to save would never open her eyes again. She had been missing for 3 days, taken by a group of ruthless mountain bandits who roamed the hills like wolves, dragging unlucky travelers into the wilderness to rob them or worse. And when word reached Callen that a nurse from the nearby settlement had vanished on her way to deliver medicine, he didn't hesitate for a moment. He saddled his horse, strapped on his rifle, and rode straight into the storm that even seasoned frontiersmen feared to challenge. He found her in an abandoned logging shed deep in the forest, tied up, shivering, barely conscious, her strength nearly gone, her lips blue from cold, and when she whispered a faint plea for help, Callen felt something tighten deep inside his chest, an undeniable sense of responsibility, a silent promise that he would not let the darkness swallow her. But the storm worsened, swallowing the trail and forcing him to carry her on foot after his horse slipped on the ice. Still he kept moving, whispering encouragements to her even though she drifted in and out of awareness, sometimes hearing him, sometimes lost in the dizzying fog of pain and cold. The trees finally thinned, revealing the faint shape of the cabin, the only warm place for miles, a place where his adopted little daughter, Lily, waited for him with hope glowing in her small heart even as fear gnawed at her mind. Because she had seen many storms in her life but never one this vicious, and never one that had taken her father into it with such danger hanging over him. The moment she spotted a shadow emerging from the blizzard outside, she pulled the cabin door open wide, letting a wave of warm golden light spill out onto the snow like a beacon, her tiny figure trembling but determined as she called, "Papa." And when Callen stepped into the light carrying the woman, Lily gasped softly, recognizing the missing nurse from the settlement whom everyone had been searching for. Callen stumbled inside, his legs nearly giving out, but he managed to lower the woman onto the waiting sofa near the fire while Lily rushed to bring blankets, water, and anything else she could think of, her small hands moving with a sense of urgency she had learned from watching Callen help others countless times. As the warmth of the fire wrapped around the nurse's frozen skin, her breathing grew steadier, and Callen gently brushed the snowflakes from her hair, whispering that she was safe now, that she was home, that the storm could no longer touch her. Lily watched them with wide, thoughtful eyes, realizing just how brave her father truly was, and in that moment she felt a bloom of pride so big it nearly made her chest ache. Outside, the storm raged on, pounding against the walls like a desperate creature, wanting to claw its way inside, but the cabin stood firm, its golden light shining through the windows like a symbol of hope that refused to be extinguished. Callen prepared warm broth and wrapped the woman in thick blankets, promising her she would not be alone again, and as the hours passed, The color slowly returned to her cheeks and her eyes fluttered open to find him watching over her with a mixture of relief and determination. She whispered her name, Elara, and thanked him with a trembling voice, tears slipping down her face as she realized how close she had come to being lost forever in the frozen wilderness. Callen simply nodded, as if saving her had been the most natural thing in the world for him to do, but Lily giggled softly and said, "Papa always finds people," making Elara smile despite her weakness. The storm would not ease until morning, sealing the three of them inside that tiny cabin, but the warmth, the fire, and the steady presence of the man who had fought through the unforgiving night to save a stranger made the place feel more like a sanctuary than a shelter. And as Elara drifted into a peaceful sleep for the first time in days, Callen sat by the fire with Lily curled against his side, knowing that no matter how fierce the storms of life became, he would always stand between them and the cold, always carry those in need through the darkness, and always keep the light burning, because that was what a protector did, even when the world tried to break him.